Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. We've got the Premier League 2026-2027 predictions, and I'm actually looking forward to this season. Feel like I've had a bit of a break from watching football after the World Cup. It's been a bit chill. Just been seeing what's been going on, and I'll be real, I'm actually excited for what's to come. We've got a new season with Pep not here. And look, let's see if we can do the back-to-back. As an Arsenal fan, last season was amazing. Was gutting at the end with the Champions League final loss, but look, we've got a fresh start, new season. But let's kick off with the predictions. So, bottom. I mean, I don't really want to. It's quite self-explanatory to be honest, but who knows? But I'm gonna have to put Hull. Hull, they literally came up in the league via playoffs and they finished in the last playoff place. Credit to them, by the way. They done well to get there. But we already know the Premier League is a different ball game, especially for teams that jump up from the playoffs into the Premier League. More than likely, they get straight relegated. And if I'm looking at like their transfers, I'm not seeing nothing like the Premier League. For me, what's key with teams that come up is what are the Premier League experience that you're bringing into your team, and there's not much here. You've got me, Matt Target, like Bartland, Geltard. Like there's not much going on, and I just feel it's gonna be too much for them. But let's hope and see that they don't have one of these like record breaking worst seasons in the Premier League. But anyway, next up, I'm going with Coventry. Coventry. It'll be a shame to be honest. I feel like Coventry, great club to be honest. Like I'm actually happy for them the way Frank Lampard has got them up. They had a fantastic season last year. Like very good. And I actually like their players, but I feel the Premier League again. I go back to Premier League experience of players, and there's not much that they've brought in. I believe they've only really brought in a Wani. A Wani is the only one from the Premier League. Urenki, I like him if I pronounce his name right. I do like him. He's a good player, but whether or not he will fit into the mold and help them straight away, I don't know. Onyeka's a decent player as well, but I just feel like it's going to be too much for Frank. And I'm a bit surprised to be honest. I thought knowing him as a manager and he's played in the Premier League, he would know that you need a lot of Premier League experience, but maybe he's putting a lot of trust into the players that got him here in the first place. So let's see whether or not that works out. Next up in 18th place, I've got I was thinking about this one and I think I'm gonna go with Ipswich. I feel Ipswich, yeah, they got back up after a tough time in the previous season. I thought they were okay to be honest in the previous season when they got relegated, but it was just one of those ones where the standard of the Premier League, man, it just gets higher and higher. So teams like this, unless they're signing like they've got that one or two players that are like world beaters that could play for the mid-table or even the top six teams, it's more than likely that they're going to get relegated. And if I look at like what they've signed, if I go to Ipswich, what have they got here? I mean, they've brought in Fatawu, good player, but is he of that level? And Sizo, how do you spell it? Let's pronounce his name horrible. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. To be fair, they've got quite a bit. They've got Issa Diop, they've got Lucic. Okay, Akpon's back in the Premier League, which is going to be good. So don't get me wrong. I mean, that's why I've got them. They're probably the best suited out of all the promoted teams to last in the Premier League, just because I feel they have got more Premier League experience. But I still think they'll struggle. So yeah, I've got them 18th. Okay, now we go into the lower mid pack. And Do you know who I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Sunderland. For last year, they had an amazing season. But I feel like that novelty's going to die down. Almost like similar to Sheffield United. When Sheffield United were in the Premier League and they had that very good season where I forgot where they finished, but I believe it was in like a top 10 position. And then the next season after that, they just plummeted. I feel like this might be what we'll see from Sunderland. Don't get me wrong, they've been able to keep Xhaka, which is very good. I was a bit scared. I thought he was actually going to go to Chelsea, which would have been mental. But yeah, I just don't feel like I just don't I feel like the teams are just gonna find them out now. They're not going to be like scared of what they're going to bring with them. If I look at what they've brought in, have they really brought in much? They've kept the same team, to be honest. Seen a lot of outgoings, but everything has kind of stayed the same. Like this is their only big deal. Apart from that, they've just done a lot of freebies. So yeah, yeah, I'm definitely going with them. And then next up, hmm, I'm going with Brighton. I feel this they've Brighton have always been there, and I feel like they've done so well. They've always stayed in the Premier League. They've been in a decent positions, but I feel now they're starting to lose that value that they had. They're losing too many players. Like, Brighton are always the team that have got the gems. But now they're losing them too quickly and they're not actually getting more of those gems. This season alone, they've already lost Danny Welbeck, who I think is a very key player for them. They lost Van Heck, very key player for them in the defense. Belabor, another key player for them in the midfield. And then there's also links with Minte going to Liverpool. I think all those four players, that's a big loss for them. Like, I feel they will definitely struggle. And if I look at like what they've actually brought in, have they brought in anything sufficient? We go to Brighton. I don't think so. I've not really heard of anything that they've brought in. So if I go to Brighton here, what's going on there? What's going on here? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a good signing. I forgot about that one. That's a good signing. A lot of money, and I actually do think he will do well for them. But you look at the outgoings, man, like Van Heck, Welbeck, Veltman is gone as well, who's actually a good player for them. Like, but Labour is a lot of players that I think this will be a big loss for them. So I'm not sure whether or not they're going to be able to keep that momentum as they usually do. So for that reason, I've got them finishing in that place. And then next we've got their rivals in Crystal Palace. Think, yeah, Crystal Palace, almost the same as Brighton. They just do what they've got to do and they stay in the same place. I think last year, obviously, they had a very good season with winning the Conference League. All credit to Glasner. He's a amazing manager. Sad to see that he actually left. I mean, like Crystal Palace is my local team, so I always do want them to do well. But I think, yeah, with Glasner leaving, I don't know whether they're going to be able to keep that same momentum. Their team it's not that great either, if we're being honest. It's not the best of teams. I feel like his system allowed them to be as good as they were. So I just think that now they will struggle a bit more. And if I look at what they've brought in as such, I don't think they've done much in the transfer window. So if I Crystal Palace, yeah, apart from the Dwight McNeil swap, you got Tomiyasu for free. This Goza guy, they've not really done much, and they've lost Lacroix, which is a big part of their system. I don't know whether or not they're still playing in that back five, but this is not much sufficient replacements. So I feel like they will struggle, and I could even have them in a toss up. I wouldn't even like mind changing them with maybe a Brighton or even a Sunderland in the positions they'll change. Okay, and next up we've got. I am going to go with Brentford. I feel Brentford. They had a good season last year. They did have a good season, especially with Igor Tiago. Is that his name? Igor Tiago. I always get the names mixed up with him and that the Nottingham Forest striker. But yeah, they had a very good job, and I even feel like their manager. If it wasn't for Arteta winning the league, he definitely should have got player manager of the season. Done an amazing job for them. But again, I just feel like the novelty of them, it will die down. I don't feel like they will have that same impact. And if I look at what they've done, Sangare, nice signing. Wilson on a free, I think that's a joke, to be honest. Losing Henderson, key part of their team. Yeah, there's not really much. Jaden Anthony's a good player. I feel like that's nice for them to sign. But apart from that, I feel like the teams just, yeah, stay the same. It's not really much is going on. So I feel like they might have a bit of a struggle season as opposed to last year. Okay, and now we've got next. I am going to go with Newcastle. I feel Newcastle. I, do I feel sorry for them? Genuinely, I don't feel sorry for them. I actually don't feel sorry for them. You see, like, because I've actually hated Newcastle. Like in the last few seasons, I feel like they've just been bullies, especially against Arsenal. We've struggled against them of recent years, man. They've going to Saint like over the last few years, any team that goes to St. James's Park, when the lights are on and you've got that shield midfield three of Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joe Linton, it's a long day. And the fact that we've signed Bruno G, I don't even know if I'm more happy that we've signed him or we've dismantled that shield midfield because they were a problem. But they've been swiped. Like you've lost your two best midfielders. Like what more can you do? It's been horrific for Newcastle. You've lost Gordon as well. Like I don't know what's going on. Eddie Howe has left. I think they're going to have a tough time. A tough time. But I will still have them in that position just because I still think there's talent there. But it's not going to be easy for them, man. I just this whole like Saudi thing for Newcastle's actually been a failure. It's been disappointing to be honest. But yeah, that for me is who I've got finishing in that position. All right, next up we've got the higher mid. Who am I going to put? I think I'm gonna go with Leeds. I think Leeds I've got finishing 12th. Leeds, I feel they've had a good transfer window, if I'm being honest. I've actually been I've actually been more impressed with their transfer window than a lot of the other teams around them. Like Harry Wilson for me, even though it's a free, I think that's an amazing signing. Harry Wilson was arguably could have been in team of the season last year. I'm even surprised he's actually gone to Leeds because I feel like Fulham are actually better than Leeds, but clearly it must be the pay package is insane. And you've got Trafford there, which I think is an amazing keeper. Like you've got that base there with him. You can't go wrong with that. And yeah, I feel like they're gonna do better than what most expect. Maybe it's not like obviously I'm saying that they've had a good window, but maybe some people look at that and think, oh, just those two players, that's not that much. But I feel with the team they already have and what they've added on, I definitely feel like they will do much better than last season. And then next up, I'm going with Nottingham Forest. For Forest, kind of just like, yeah, steady Eddie season. Nottingham Forest, have they really done much in the window? Obviously, they've lost Elliot Anderson, which is a big loss for them. But apart from that, when I look, they've signed Diamande, who's a good defender, and a lot of players here who I'm not even aware of. So, I mean, they've not really done much in the window, but I feel for them, it's more so they had a tough time last year. Now they've been able to like steady the ship, and they've always had a good team. I feel like now they can just get back into rhythm and should have a better season than what they did last year. And then next up, I'm going with Fulham. Fulham. I think Fulham, they're going to have a little good season. I would say with Fulham, obviously losing Harry Wilson is a big loss. I don't know why they didn't do everything in their power to actually keep him on the books, but I don't know what that was. If I look at who they've signed Shea Charles, good player. Gonzalo Garcia. I've not seen much of him, but signing him for that much from Real Madrid, I mean that's a big one there for them. So he should do well. I'm expecting him to do well. And I mean they have lost quite a few players. They've lost Diop, Lucic, Jimenez, but these are players that were kind of like surplus to requirements. But I do feel like yeah, they've got a good team. I do like Fulham. Like Fulham are one of those teams where you've got a lot of those good players, man. Like I'm a big fan of Iwobi, Smith Rowe, obviously former Arsenal players. You got Bassi there, who I do like a lot. Robinson. So yeah, I feel like they will do well. And next up, we've got Everton. I feel Everton. David Moyes, I'm obviously a big fan of him. I thought they done well last year with what they had anyway. With what they had, I would say they done well because I feel their team is not the best. It's not the best at all. If you look at what they've signed, they've obviously got Norgard in from Arsenal, which I think is a good signing for them. Johnson swap deal. I mean that one's a funny one because I feel like him um and Dwight McNeil, they're like it's like Johnson is Johnson younger than him. I feel like Johnson's just a younger McNeil. There's not much difference there. Obviously, you got Tyreek George. They've signed him on a permanent. I really do hope he has a good season. Last year, no, he didn't really do much after he went on the loan, but he is a good player, and I hope he performs well. And they also signed Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, which is a good deal. Good deal. So I think they'll do well. I'm intrigued to see what they've got going on. Obviously, the reports are that Njai, like, there's a lot of links with him maybe leaving, which I do think might be obviously would be a big loss for them if he was to leave. But by the looks of it, it seems like he might stay. So yeah, I'm gonna keep them there. And then the last team who I think are going to miss out on the Europa League positions, I am going to go with Villa. I think Villa. I feel sorry for Emery, man. I'll be honest. I feel really sorry for him right now. I think they've of the back of them just winning the Europa League, they've proceeded to lose Tielemans. They've proceeded to lose Konza. The reports are that their striker might leave. Their striker might leave too. Why have I forgot his name? His name has just gone out. It's gone out of my brain. Just silly me. Yeah, crazy that. But yeah, you've lost Rogers, you've lost Konza, you've lost Tielemans, you've lost Digne too, who I wasn't even aware went to PSG. You've lost Digne too. Like these are a lot of players to go in one window. And when you look at what they've brought in, Joe Gomez, good player. Ruggieri, I mean that's alright. Garnacho, I think that's some dodgy dealings with the whole Rogers thing. I think they said, look, we'll let you pay this price and we'll take Garnacho because I don't know why on earth they would sign him. Shocking. But I think they're gonna struggle, man. Like, and if Watkins does actually permanently leave, it's like you've just lost like literally your four core players in the team all gone straight away. It's a lot for them. I just think they're gonna struggle, and especially with them now. Obviously, they won the Europa League, so now they're going to be back in the Champions League. I just feel like they're going to, with the team that they have now, playing it 2 games a week back in the Champions League with that squad that they have. Nah, man, they're in for a shock. So for that reason, I've got them missing out on the European spots. And then who I've got getting the Europa Conference League spot is Bournemouth. So Bournemouth, hey, listen, after last season, after that game where well, they ended up making us win the Premier League with that result against Man City. I love Bournemouth, man. I actually do enjoy watching Bournemouth, to be fair. Like, I think Ariola had them playing good football, like very good football. That's one thing I'll give them. And like the players that they have there, like obviously you've got Rayan, you've got Krupi, like these are just players, Alex Scott. Like I just love their team. Like I love the players that they have. Ingoings, I mean they've got Antonio Silva, good player to be fair. Can go into the defense. I don't know about these two. Not much outgoings have happened to be honest. That's one thing why I believe that they will get Conference League because they haven't lost their core players. If they lost Alex Scott or maybe Rayan or maybe Krupi or like Tavernier, I might have said, oh, they may struggle, but they haven't lost any of them. So I still believe they will do very well. But yeah, and now we go on to the big boys, the top six. The top six. I think sixth place, I am going to go with Tottenham. I feel Tottenham, after the horrific season they had last year, I feel they're definitely going to bounce back. I'm not gonna lie, I've been very impressed with Tottenham's transfer window. I feel like this is probably the best transfer window that they've probably ever had, if we're being honest. Like the money they've spent, if you look at this, they've signed Tonali for 100 mil. They've signed Mateus Fernandes for 85, Van Heck for 52. And then there's also the reports of them signing Savinho for 75 or whatever, and then also Marmoush. If they end up signing all of them, I think they've had their best window in the Premier League by far because that transforms their team. Because as we've seen, there was a reason why they were. Don't get me wrong, like their manager was horrific, but there was a reason why they were in the places that they finished for the last 2 seasons because their team was just not good. But they've actually improved their base level massively now. To get Tonali and Fernandez in your midfield, then Van Heck in the defense, and then you bring the frees of Robertson and Sensi. I like those two frees. I really do like them. Obviously, they've ended up losing Romero, Spence, which are big losses, and then they've lost Vucevic. But I mean, like these guys were always on their way out. And I thought if they get their injured players back, like Kulusevski, Kudus, Madison fully fit, I genuinely think that they could have a good season, better than what most might expect. So for that reason, I'm going to have them sixth place. And fifth place now, fifth place. This even needs to change because now the league is not even Europa League's thing in it. Now it's basically top five. But fifth place, I am going with United. United. I feel like United, last season, obviously, they ended up getting back into the Champions League, which is where they belong. As much as I like to banter them, I am happy that they got back in because come on, man. We need like the old top four. Like you need the traditional top four, the Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, United. I miss those days. You need everyone to be at the top for the Premier League to really be at that level. Not even at that level again, should just be at its peak. When they say peak Barclays, like we ain't getting that anymore because there's always one or two teams that are rubbish, that are in a traditional big six or whatever. But I mean, the signings that they've done this season, I've been impressed. I'm not gonna lie, I have been impressed. Andre Santos is a good one. I'm surprised Chelsea let him leave. He's a good one. Him and Tielemans definitely improves that midfield. And one thing that they've always complained about, and which I've always been happy about, is the fact that they've not had technical ability in their midfield. Their midfield technical ability has been quite low, but they have increased that massively with those two signings. And then obviously the potential signing of Baleba, which is pretty much done, that just brings their midfield up like drastically. So it is good. The only reason why though I'm gonna have them fifth is because that defense, I'm not with that. Their defense hasn't changed since I saw a tweet since 2022. They're starting the same defense in the game that they played the other week. Like, how can you have that? 4 years later, Luke Shaw's still here starting games. Maggie is still starting games. Dalot still starting games. Like, that's not on. Like, they should have at least signed one or two defenders. So for that reason, I'm gonna have them fifth. And then now the top four, top four. Whew. In fourth place, I am going with Liverpool. Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool. After a horrendous season last year, would I say yeah, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. In what we believed would have been a back to back Premier League titles for them, ended up being a disastrous season, and their signings just did not live up to their expectations. And I mean, right now, if you look at what they brought in, Jacket, I'm a big fan of him. Big fan. I think he's gonna fit in perfectly with Van Dijk, and that's the perfect person to learn under. I think he's gonna have a very good season. Munoz, I actually like Munoz. I think he's gonna secretly have a good season for them. I feel that one has gone under the radar, and you also got the potential signing of Barcola, which I don't. I feel the Barcola one, as we get on, I don't know if it's going to materialize. I think that one they might just leave that. But the Minte one, I'm actually when I first saw it, and I am still a bit cautious of that one. I do think it's a lot of money, but as they say, Minte is literally what you would say the perfect like Mane regen for them. And I think if he does sign, he will actually have a good season. Not even a good season, a good career for them. So I am hoping that they do get him, to be fair. I do like the player. I want him to have a good career. So I think with them, if Isaac Works can play to the ability that they have, I think Liverpool will have a decent season or better than what they had last year. And obviously with Rio and Gamoa, he's now getting into things, probably going to see him a lot more. I definitely think that they'll do well, but just not enough to be in a sort of title race, which I do think pressure should be on them to be in a title race. But I don't know, it just gets to that point now where everyone is just like, just leave them alone. And now we've got the top three. Top three, top three. Whew, I am going. I've been chopping and changing with this one. I've been chopping and changing, but I feel after watching the Community Shield, I'm gonna have to go with City third. City for me, I mean, it's joy to my it's joy to my ears, joy to my eyes to see all of this downfall from City. Like Pep has gone, Rodri gone, Bernardo gone, like who Stones gone, like the core that the foundations of this team of this dynasty is going. And when we beat them, I was seeing that game, I was just like, they're just not that good. Like genuinely, they're not that good. Like, and I feel the Elliot Anderson signing, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of this guy, but I don't feel he's gonna give that same impact as what he would have if he had Rodri with him. That Rodri one going to Barcelona. Honestly, when he went, I was so happy because that for me just it made me go from them being a title challenger to just dropping them down. They're just gonna have a good season and just be third. They will obviously always be here because of the talent that they have, but the amount of players that they've lost and they've not really signed anything sufficient enough for me to believe that yeah, they're going to do well. They've been chasing Boabi the whole summer, and I don't even feel like even if he comes in, he's gonna have that impact straight away. The guy's still a teenager, he's still a kid. Like I don't know. I feel Man City is gonna be like a transitional period with Maresca in now. I feel like they're gonna need to get into the thick of things, get into that swing, and yeah, for that reason, I've got them third. And now Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea. When is the last time Arsenal, Chelsea were in a title race? Like just the two of them. Has that even ever happened? I'm trying to think of what I say recent years. We've not really been in like title races of past until the last 3 years for 04, 05, but we wasn't really was that a title race? Like, yeah, like literally, I don't think Arsenal and Chelsea have had that. They've had that one, and hopefully we get to have it this season. But I'm obviously going to put Chelsea finishing second. Now, the reason why I've got Chelsea finishing second and why I do believe they'll be in a title race is one, these guys are playing one game a week. With the squad that they have playing one game a week, there's no excuses for them to not finish top three. Top three is a minimum with that to one game a week. You've got Alonso has just come in now. Very good manager. Very good manager. I think he will do well for them. And if you look at what they've signed, what they've actually brought in, I do think I don't know. I do think it's been a medium one because a lot of people are rating it highly. I'm like, you've signed like experience, like Welbeck. Don't get me wrong. I think Welbeck is a good signing. I think Welbeck adds a adds that different dimension of striker that they need because let's be honest, like the lap ain't it. And Welbeck as an understudy to Pedro, I think that's perfect. Henderson, they do need that like experience. You've obviously signed Morgan Rogers, who I'm a big fan of. I did want him at Arsenal, but at that price point, you can go. Like I'm not on that. Lacroix is decent. I don't think he's gonna be as good as what people expect, but it does seem like they're gonna play that back five. So him being in that, it makes perfect sense as he played in that in Glasner's team. The outgoings though, I think outgoings like Cucurella going is a big loss. Like and Santos, I was quite surprised with the Santos one, but I mean I think it does make sense right now for what they've got going on. And yeah, I think for that reason, I've got them finishing second. Like, I mean, you still have a very good team, regardless of what I think about Chelsea. You've got Enzo. If he can play like how he plays when he's at Argentina, you've got Caicedo, you've got Palmer. If you can get back to that level, you've got Rogers now, you've got Joao Pedro, you've got Neto, you've got James. Like, you've got a good core base, Chelsea. Like, a very good core base. And I think with this one game a week, guys will be fresh. There won't be no excuses for them to not do well in this Premier League. But it's just not going to be enough because obviously I've got Arsenal winning the Premier League. I think we're going to do a back-to-back, which would be our first. And I try to be as like as unbiased as possible, but genuinely looking at all the teams and what we've done and how everyone, I think for me it's not more so we're going to win the league because we've improved so much. I just think we're going to win the league because the others haven't improved enough. When I look at the rivals who I think will be for us is Chelsea, Man City, and potentially Liverpool. They haven't done enough to get to our level. Yes, Man City almost won it last year and were close, but they've had a big drop off from what has just happened to them from last season to now with losing Pep and losing Rodri and all of this. Well, as for us, we've just slowly improved the team with signing Bruno G, who is a very, very, very good player. A top five centre mid for me in the Premier League. And that makes us have the best midfield in the Premier League, bar none. We've signed Zolis, who I've been very impressed with. I'm not gonna lie. We've signed Konza. Konza, quality centre back. Another addition to this defense. Like this defense is the best in Europe. Like no one can tell me nothing. The attack is obviously what I'm worried about. You've got Gyökeres is still there, but I don't think he's going to be starting games. Honestly, I think Arteta's already found him out. Like he knows this guy is not it. And for that reason, I just think as we just slowly increase, we haven't increased highly, but we've just slowly increased, and the other teams have not. You've got City have gone down, Chelsea have just a little bit gone up, but their level was already here, and Liverpool too. They've not done enough to go above us, and that's the main reason why I'm going to have us winning the Premier League again. But that's not enough for me, and that's where I have concerns with Arsenal because I don't. Obviously, it's good for us to win the Premier League, but I want us to win more because the opportunity is there. The opportunity was there with the Champions League, and I was saying it from the start. I wasn't impressed with our attack in general. For me, it was never enough to win a Premier League, and honestly, to win the Champions League. And honestly, if we did win the Champions League, of course I would have been ecstatic, but I would have been like, this is genuinely the most sickening thing I've seen because an attack of this quality shouldn't win the Champions League, and that's what ended up happening. We wasn't able to get it over the line, and I feel we're one like quality. Obviously, we tried with Vinny. Seems like we're trying with Alvarez, but we need to get that world class quality attacker, and I believe once we get that, then we can genuinely start talking about winning the Champions League properly, like properly, and even winning other stuff, doing doubles, doing trebles. You've got to think Arsenal, we got into two finals. We lost two finals last season and came out against, was it Southampton in the flipping FA Cup, and then won the Premier League. We got far in a lot of things and we should have done more. Should have been a double at minimum. But for that, I'm gonna have to go with that. Okay. Now, if we just do like a little awards list, I feel Premier League Player of the Season. Premier League Player of the Season. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna go on a whim here. I'm going to say Odegaard. I'm gonna say Odegaard for the fact that I liked how he was moving in a World Cup. I thought he had like a pep in his step. He was moving very warm, and I've been liking what I've seen from him in pre-season so far with Arsenal. And I feel like if he can perform like that, and he's got the protection there of Bruno and Rice, where he doesn't need to be doing that dropping deep stuff, and he can now just attack and be potent, be ready. I feel like he will give us that charge to win our second Premier League title. Um, Young player of the season. Young player of the season. I'm actually going to go with Rio Engamoa. I feel I'm expecting him to play a lot this season, especially if they don't sign Barcola. And and I do feel like he will do well, man. I really like Rio Engamoa. I think he's a quality player. And I mean Liverpool now, they've steadied the ship. They've got Areola there. I think he will definitely thrive under that regime. Manager of the season. I am going to go with Arteta again. I feel doing a back to back, I feel that's like self explanatory. You deserve to get manager of the season. But I do think that who Xavi Alonso, depending on how close they push us, will have a very good debut season in the Premier League. And now we're going with signing of the window or signing of the Premier League. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. There's a lot of signings that I do like, and a lot of signings that I feel like for teams do make the most sense. I feel like if I had a short list, I'm thinking straight away off the bat, you've got Solis, you've got Tielemans, you've got Bruno G, you've got Van Heck. I think personally, I'm going to go with Bruno G. I think Bruno G, as long as he stays fit with Arsenal and he's playing, I just think that what he brings to the Arsenal midfield is just different. It's different quality. I think you can't replicate that. There's not many players that have that ability that what he has. I think we've been missing that for a long time. Ever since Xhaka left, I think we've been missing that. And I think he's just going to just add that still and add that aggressiveness, everything that we need, everything that we've been missing in that midfield. And for that reason, I've got him as being a signing of the summer or the season. And I think worst signing, mate, that Garnacho, like you see this, like that is literally what I have to do when I think of the Garnacho signing. That Garnacho signing is horrible, man. That player, I genuinely don't know what's going on with him. Like how he's even got that move to Aston Villa. Literally last summer he was at Man United, then he went to Chelsea. Now he's at like it's crazy, man. It's genuinely crazy, but yeah, that for me was signing. And I think that's it really. But I'm excited for this Premier League season, and let's see if whether my predictions were correct. I actually think I've got a good prediction. I feel like out of the 20 teams, I think 16 of mine could be correct. 16. But yeah, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll definitely be posting more. The Premier League is back. I'm back. I want to definitely get myself involved in more football content. Listen, I love this game. I love talking about this game, and I just want to be able to show that to everybody. Hope you enjoy. Comment, let me know what you think, and peace out.